Pro wrestling and the question of age has always been a heated topic among fans, critics, and even the wrestlers themselves. At what point does a wrestler stop being seen as a genuine attraction and start being viewed as a liability? It is a debate that has shifted dramatically over the years, and right now, WWE finds itself staring down a ticking time bomb with its aging roster. Nearly every male star marketed at the main event level is over 40 years old. On the surface, that might not sound alarming, but when you factor in that most of these names are either battling a long history of injuries or have openly admitted they are winding down their careers, the company could be sitting on the edge of a real crisis. If you want to stay ahead of every twist in this story, hit subscribe and turn on that notification bell, because the wrestling world moves fast and you will not want to miss what comes next. Age inside the squared circle has always followed a familiar pattern. Veteran stars would dominate the main event scene while occasionally passing the torch to rising talent, hoping to elevate them into the spotlight. This formula has worked time and again throughout WWE history. Back in 2002, the company needed a new face to carry the brand following the departures of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, so they bet everything on Brock Lesnar. He tore through legend after legend that summer before dethroning The Rock at SummerSlam to capture the WWE Championship, proving this strategy can create instant stardom. But only when the wrestler already has crowd momentum and genuine fan buy-in. That same gamble can blow up spectacularly. Just look at 2010 when WWE tried forcing Jack Swagger into the top spot. Almost nobody wanted to see him there. And even with Randy Orton trying to elevate him, the fans rejected it outright and the push collapsed. Sometimes these bets require real logic and a true read on what today's audience actually wants. If WWE tried this now, pushing Trick Williams or Oba Femi into that Lesnar-style spotlight could work. But forcing someone like Austin Theory into the same role might spark instant backlash. So what shifted the landscape so drastically? Whispers about WWE's aging roster problem started building years ago, as it became obvious that nearly every world champion crowned was over 40, a trend that even swallowed newer names like Damian Priest, who did not capture his first world title until 2024 at 41 years old. The wrestling business has transformed, and the brutal days of grinding out 300-plus dates a year are long gone, which has actually protected talent physically and financially, sparing them from destroying their bodies just to survive in the industry. Another major factor is that top stars like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns barely appear on television at all anymore. Rhodes still shows up for every single live event, but Reigns has not worked a live event match in what feels like an eternity. This shift stands out sharply when you remember the 90s, when top stars like Stone Cold Steve Austin were expected to be wrestling every single week, and fans tuning into Raw genuinely expected to see him in some form of physical action every episode. Advances in medical science have also played a massive role in extending careers across the aging roster. Randy Orton could have easily been forced into retirement years ago because of his back injury, yet he managed to recover and return performing at an elite level. The same story applies to Kevin Owens, who battled a career-threatening neck injury that could have ended everything for him. While it is genuinely exciting to see these legends still competing, it is important to remember that they are not invincible, and their bodies will inevitably continue breaking down over time. Owens himself revealed after his SummerSlam return that he plans to go all in physically, or in his own words, until the wheels fall off. And while his passion for the business is admirable, there is real concern that an injury might end his career before he ever gets the chance to walk away on his own terms. So let us dig into the roster itself. Just how deep does this age problem actually run, and is it really as dramatic as it sounds? To properly analyze this, we need to look closely at the main event scene, break down the ages of specific stars, and estimate how much time they realistically have left as in-ring performers. First up is Roman Reigns, who is 41 years old and currently works in a part-time capacity. Although Reigns appears more frequently now than during his legendary title reign, he still avoids live events entirely and often misses television dates, a pattern that is likely to continue until he eventually rides off into a Hollywood sunset. Then there is CM Punk, one of the oldest names on the roster at 47, who has openly admitted he is tired of fans constantly asking when he will retire. While Punk can still deliver at a high level, nearly every singles match he has feels like it pushes his body to the limit, a clear sign that decades in the ring are catching up to him. What about Cody Rhodes? He is the same age as Roman Reigns, yet he continues working a grueling full-time schedule. Rhodes wrestles as well as anyone currently on the roster in 2026, and it would not be shocking to see the American Nightmare remain on top for at least another 5 years. Then there is Seth Rollins, who at 40 years old is technically one of the younger names in the main event picture, but has become increasingly injury-prone recently. Every time Rollins gets a major push, an injury seems to derail him almost instantly. And although he has not publicly discussed retirement, the possibility of him stepping away soon cannot be ruled out, especially with reports suggesting he could take on a serious backstage role that would keep him connected to the business for years to come. And then, there is Randy Orton. 46 years old and easily one of the most experienced wrestlers still active in the company. Having debuted all the way back in 2002, it is honestly remarkable that he remains a main event caliber performer capable of delivering in the ring. The real concern lies in his back injury, which could resurface and cause serious problems down the road. Orton has insisted he has no plans to retire just yet, but there is a real possibility his body could force that decision for him. He is also no longer a full-time performer, frequently disappearing from television for extended stretches, meaning fans should simply get used to seeing a part-time version of Orton going forward. Of course, these are just a handful of names from the main roster, but the core problem remains the same. If all these stars had to walk away tomorrow, WWE would find itself in genuine trouble. The company has largely failed to develop anyone capable of stepping into that main event void, with the possible exception of Oba Femi. Getting him to this point has already consumed enormous resources, and Brock Lesnar even went off script just to endorse Femi as the next legitimate star. Will WWE extend that same kind of backing to names like Trick Williams or Bron Breakker? It seems unlikely right now, but the clock is ticking and action is desperately needed. As things stand, Femi is the only rising name on the roster that genuinely feels capable of standing shoulder to shoulder with the legends mentioned above. And that alone should be sounding alarm bells throughout WWE. The encouraging part is that fan interest in these new stars is clearly there. During the August 10th episode of Raw, the segment featuring Femi and Breakker became the most watched segment across every single platform, and not by a small margin either. The hunger for fresh stars is undeniable. Still, it is worth noting that this particular episode did not feature any of the legendary names discussed earlier. So is this truly proof of star power, or simply a case of these two standing out because nobody bigger shared the show with them? Does WWE even recognize this looming problem? Several top stars have already spoken publicly about the aging roster issue, and Cody Rhodes, often regarded as the face of the company, offered a particularly interesting take on the subject. Speaking on The Breakfast Club, the American Nightmare explained that everything runs in cycles. He pointed back to the golden era of the 1980s, joking that a wrestler's true prime back then was considered to be between 35 and 42 years old, purely because of the psychological experience required. Back then, performers toured relentlessly from town to town, and live crowds were everything, forcing wrestlers to learn how to truly connect with an audience rather than simply performing for cameras or for each other. Rhodes added that the locker room right now is packed with experience. Careful not to spin the topic negatively. He recalled a famous photo of himself, CM Punk and Matt Cardona, joking they had already won big titles as young guys, but had no real clue or experience back then. Looking at today, he admitted everyone knows exactly who is being talked about, naming Roman, himself, Punk, and Randy as the group still headlining WrestleMania, calling it a genuinely experienced crew. Rhodes is right, and it would obviously be awkward for him to openly say he and other top names need to step away due to age. Still, Rhodes and the other main eventers must realize WWE needs to act. Interestingly, John Cena told CBS Sports that he and other legends staying on top for over 2 decades may have hurt WWE's ability to build new young stars. He explained his own unprecedented 23-year run was not typical for a champion. and alongside him, Randy Orton ran a similarly long stretch. Batista had a shorter run, and Brock Lesnar moved in and out. That whole era, he admitted, was an anomaly of longevity that ate up time and spots meant for others. Cena believes WWE is now loaded with youth, and it is only a matter of time before a noticeably younger world champion emerges. He has clearly seen this coming for years, and though some fans blame him for not stepping aside sooner, he did try pushing names like Austin Theory, Solo Sikoa, and Dominic Mysterio, only for the booking to let them down. So what comes next? How does WWE fix this? Fans have pushed for Wrestlemania 43 to become this era's Wrestlemania 21, resetting the top of the card with Oba Femi winning the world title and someone like Bron Breakker capturing the WWE title. This could work brilliantly, but will WWE actually commit to it? The company knows Reigns, Punk, Rhodes, and Orton still draw big in the main event scene. So will they wait until the last possible moment to pull the trigger on fresh talent? Remember, TKO only cares about dollars and cents, so countless factors will decide when WWE finally hands over the reins. So tell me, do you think WWE genuinely has an age problem, or is this all overblown? Drop your honest take below, hit that follow button, and I will see you next time with more wrestling content that digs beneath the surface.